Hey guys, Zobs here, bringing you this Art of War Legions video where we are going to be touching on some top tips for beginners who are just starting out their journey in Art of War Legions. Now, if you're new to the game, I just want to start by saying welcome. Art of War Legions has some really active developers and also an awesome community, so you're joining at a really good time right now if you're just starting to pick up the game. Now, I've been playing for a while and I've also done a bit of research, and so I thought I'd put this video together as some sort of top tips that I would have wanted to know when I was starting out playing the game. And so this is going to be 5 different ways you can really excel in your first couple of weeks of playing Art of War Legions. So jumping right in, the first thing and almost the most important thing you want to be doing is spending your gems wisely. So in lots of different mobile games and in Art of War Legions, there's generally 2 different types of currencies. One is really hard to get and one is sort of pretty easy and you can pick up all the time. So gems are going to be this hard to get currency in Art of War Legions, and you're going to really need to be smart with how you're spending them if you want to do well. So there's a few different ways of spending them. You can spend them in the shop where you're going to be buying troops in packs. You can buy troops individually. You can also get coins as well in the shop by spending your gems. You can also spend them to reduce time on unlocks. So that's going to be like in chests. If you're waiting for your chest to unlock and it's like 20 hours and you just can't do it, you just can't hold on, you want to unlock your chest right away, you can spend some gems to unlock it immediately. You can also spend your gems on arena battles. So if you've battled, this is sort of like the PvP version of the game, you're battling all these people. You start off with 20 battles a day and you just want to keep going because you're really enjoying fighting other people. You can spend some gems to keep fighting them there. And also you can spend your gems in events. So events are basically things that come and go, introduced by the developers and then taken away. So they might last like 3 days, 7 days, and those often have some really good rewards. So I think the best way, at least that I've found in my first couple of weeks of playing, of spending your gems is really in these events. So the events come and go, and often when the developers release an event, they're going to also have like a really exciting hero or some really awesome rewards attached to it. And so they really want people to sort of spend some money and spend their gems there. So I personally think that one of the best ways you can spend your gems is actually saving them up and waiting for an event to drop that has some really compelling rewards, and then cashing in and spending a lot of gems on that event to acquire a really powerful hero. For example, recently they just did a sort of a spin the wheel event where they had a new legendary hero, Apollo, as a reward. So I cashed in and spent quite a few gems on that and got leveled up an Apollo quite a bit, which is really helpful for me going through the adventures. Now, if you don't want to wait for these events, because I can understand some people just sort of want to jump in and keep playing the game and maybe have some more gems to spend, I would say you can also spend them in the shop. Through the packs is also a decent way of getting some pretty good heroes. You can get some epic heroes, some legendary heroes, and also just troops. And so you can do that by just buying 1, but ideally if you can save up for 10, then you're going to be getting a bit of a discount, a bit of efficiency there, and that's going to be the best way of doing it. So really the thing is, patience is going to pay off. If you can hold off until you want to spend your gems really wisely, you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So that's going to be your first tip. Your second tip is kind of similar, but it's about your gold, and you want to spend your gold wisely. And now this might sound kind of crazy because it's pretty easy to get gold. You can just keep battling over and over and over, and you can just keep getting more and more gold. So really, you don't have to be quite as sort of smart as gems, but realistically, this is still a resource that you're going to want to sort of manage effectively if you want to do well in the game. And there's a couple different ways you can spend gold. Similarly to gems, you can spend it in the shop, buying packs. Now these packs aren't as good as the gem packs, but they're going to be really useful when you're starting off the game. You can also buy battle cards, which is where if you hit battle and then you jump into the menu, you can sort of over time choose to get troops with these different sort of star ratings of battle cards. If you're just starting off, my tip that I found useful would be start by spending the coins in the shop, on the sort of standard packs where you're getting sort of 3, 1 or 2 star units. And this is really going to bolster up your army over time. As you get later in the game, I think it might be more useful to switch to these battle cards where you can get sort of epic troops and you're going to be getting more sort of useful units for the late game. But for starting out, I would jump into the shop and get these sort of just standard packs on your coins. So tip number 3 is we're going to move away from spending a currency. And these extra tips, I'm trying to be a little bit more helpful because there's some really obvious stuff, which is just like play the game, do the things. But I think something that I found useful is if we're going to jump into the arena, so this is the PvP mode where you're sort of fighting different people, you're going to want to pick the right battles. You want to pick the right opponents. You only get 20 battles a day, so you should really be patient and pick the right ones. So winning these battles is going to sort of rank you up over time and get more and more rewards. Firstly, if you win battles now, you're getting these immediate unlocks, but then also at the end of the season, the better you've done, the better rewards you're going to be getting. So one tip in the arena is refreshing the battles and sort of choosing different opponents. Each time you refresh and you sort of choose different opponents, you're going to get different options. You're going to get different matchups. So you should really just keep refreshing until you get a good opponent that you want to fight against. Now, what's a good opponent? Well, I've sort of found that people who tend to be higher ranks are going to give you more points. They're going to give you more reward if you're fighting them. So you want to try and find someone who's sort of a high as rank as possible, and you want to take them on. That being said, you never ever want to lose one of these battles. You only get 20 battles a day, and if you lose one, you're basically going backwards. So you want to try and find someone that's as high a rank as possible, but you're not going to lose to. And you can do this by looking at your power, looking at their power, maybe play a little bit safe. Don't really pick someone who's maybe the same power, because that could be a bit of a toss-up. But yeah, you want to find someone you can beat, and they're also a high rank, and that will get you some really good points and rank you up quickly in the arena. So number 4 tip is going to be do your dailies. So jump on every day. This doesn't take too long, but it's really the best stuff you can do is power through each thing. So you've got quests. You want to try and do as many quests as you can. I've actually found some of the quests don't seem worth it, so I try and do all my quests every day. But if it's stuff like spend a bunch of gems and I'm not really going to get much back for it, sometimes I sit off and don't do those. I'm not sure if that's like the perfect strategy, but I've found that working for me. So as well as do your quests, you want to do the head hunt. The head hunt is going to get you a lot of gems every day, a lot of coins as well. So definitely smash through all of those. It's a little bit repetitive right now, but maybe just like watch Netflix or something while you're doing it. It's definitely, you can get through that pretty fast. Another thing to call out is you can open the chest and get your sort of idle battle rewards. So over time, this chest is going to accrue with more and more coins and more gems. But it actually hits a cap. And so right now, I believe it's about 6 hours. So after 6 hours, you're not going to get any more rewards from this. So where you can, make sure you open this every 6 hours. Otherwise, it's going to sort of cap out and you're not going to be getting any benefits from that. The last type of daily to jump into is any events. So sometimes events have sort of like promotions where they encourage you to jump on a day. Maybe you get like a cheap spin. Maybe you get extra sort of headhunt battles, which is the one right now. But you want to do the event dailies as well. So package up all your dailies. Remember all the things you have to do each day. And really you can smash those out and get some really nice benefits. So the last tip I'm going to go through is, now it's less about the metagame and it's more about the actual battles. So finally the actual battles and the actual troops. I haven't even talked about them yet. It's mostly just sort of like account management stuff up until here. But in the actual battles, I'm going to give you some quick tips on sort of how to jump into those, how to progress in this sort of adventure battle mode. So for the first thing, I'm going to talk about formations. And basically, the tip is just experiment with formations. There is no best formation. You don't want to you're not kind of going to look up some pro who's doing this one thing and you're like, oh, okay, I better run that one formation. There's no best formation. You're always fighting different troops. You're always fighting different formations. So you're really going to want to change it up and experiment with formations. And one of the great things is there isn't really a downside to sort of this farming mode. You can just keep hitting battle and trying over and over. You might even want to run a screen recorder so you can see why you're losing or why you're winning. And you know, when you're experimenting, some of the results might surprise you. In a conventional sort of battle game, you're thinking, all right, let's put the tank at the front and let's put the squishy damage dealers at the back, to be protected. That seems like it makes sense. That's not always the case because, there's some units in Art of War Legions that are going to jump straight to the back and take out your guys at the back. Ghost Assassins, for an example, or troops that do that. So, you're going to want to experiment and see what you're going up against. Maybe you want to put tanks in the back row. Maybe you can put some Ogre Warriors there. So if they're Ghost Assassins jump to the back, you can put your Ogre Warriors there to protect them. And, at the front, maybe you want some squishy guys at the front. You've got this unit, Magic Apprentices, which are these little sort of witch guys that fly around on brooms. And they can almost taunt the enemy, so they sort of fly off at the start and distract the enemy units who go and chase around the magic apprentices. So, really there's no best formation, and you want to experiment, even little experiments. If you keep losing on a certain level, maybe just move a couple guys around and maybe you'll get the win that way. So, that's sort of quite a few different tips. We're going to leave it there for now. You want to manage your gems and coins wisely. You want to pick the right opponents in the arena. You want to sort of experiment with your formations, and you want to do your dailies as well. So if you're doing that in your sort of first couple of weeks in Art of War Legions, I think it's going to get you off to sort of a fantastic start. And just get involved. There's a Discord channel you can join and start chatting to people as well. And you can get sort of really engaged with the community, and I definitely recommend that. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoy playing Art of War Legions. I know that I do. Feel free to drop a like or comment if you've got any other tips. Would love for you to subscribe to my videos as well, because I'm going to be releasing more Art of War Legions content soon. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.